needs to make a decision, like, to me, this is like a decision for him. Like, if he wants it, he's got to commit. In that instance, I would probably, if it was me again, I would get you would both reinvest your shares. Does that make sense? So the VC can make you reinvest your shares. Oh yeah, they would reinvest, they would make you reinvest your shares. So in that instance, I don't think I'd use that as a if we're going to grow this, you can't make it most of the have you ever spoken to Tim Bernard? He and his business models
Testing. Hello. 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 Yeah, Kieran. It's been a while. How's things been? Good. All right. Hey, guys. Welcome to Morning Startup. Thanks for coming down nice and early and getting out of bed, setting your alarm. My name is Scott Glue. I'm one of the organisers at Morning Startup, and this here is the beautiful...
Yes, I'm the other organiser. We also meet here every 2 weeks. Rain, hail, no snow, sunshine, without fail.
Yeah. That's right, and we talk about startup stuff. So hopefully everyone in the audience is, in the startup space. You're starting something, you're thinking about starting something, maybe you've started something and it's, on its way. But we put up an interesting presenter. We have some networking opportunities. We've got some food, thanks to some awesome sponsors. We've got coffee. If you don't have a coffee, go down to Joey Zaz's and tell them you're at Morning Startup. And they'll give you a free coffee, I think.
Courtesy of TechOn, so thank you.
That's right. But what we like to do to start with is find out who you guys are. This is your little chance to stand up, give us a bit of a pitch, 30 seconds max, about what you're working on. And if you've got like an ask, you're looking for developers, looking for a co-founder, all that sort of stuff, some smart people in the audience here and people that might want to know what you're working on.
We know who the newbies are as well, so I will put a microphone in your face if you are not confident enough to stand up. Anyone want to go first?
No pressure.
Come on, no pressure. There are some newbies here. Literally, the first person... In fact, I'm just going to go and pick on someone because I know that he'll do this and he'll just do it. And he hasn't been here for a while, and he's like, Woohoo! Introduce yourself.
Hi. You bastard. Hi everybody, my name's Marcus Holmes. I've just come back to, it's been a few months now, but I spent 6 years travelling the world and came back to Perth a few months ago. I'm a tech co-founder looking for someone with a good idea, and I can help you build stuff, and if I can't help you build stuff, I can find someone who can help you build stuff. So yeah, if you're stuck looking for a tech co-founder, come and give me a shout. Cool.
Awesome. That's how you do it. Who wants to have a go?
It's as easy as that. Thank you, Marcus. Marcus is one of the stalwarts here in the ecosystem, so they're at the start.
Come on, is there no one that wants to do a shameless plug or announcement? Let's go.
I'm Kate. I'm from Core. I have been a few times to Morning Startup, and I just started with them about 10 weeks ago. We're an ecosystem for the mining, resources and energy sector, and we're about to kick off our next round of Core Start, which is a program for early stage startups in that sector. So if you're interested, jump on the Core website and send through an application. It's a free 12-week course, and we'll connect you with a mentor in the ecosystem and run you through some workshops, etc., to get you started.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Anyone else? See, now you see. Thanks,
Yeah.
Marcus. We broke the back of this one.
It's going to break the seal.
Quarterback.
Hello, my name is Greg Mitchinson. I'm from Quarterback. This is my first time here. We're part of the Startup Accelerator Program Plus A, and we're building software for publicly listed companies to attract and retain more retail investors. That's all.
Well done. Terrific. How do we find out more?
That's
Quarterback.com?
Have you,
Qback.au.
I never
Fair
got an
enough.
ask.
Just a chat. First time here, so I'll chat to all.
Perfect.
You're not looking for anything specific in your business?
Eventually looking for a CTO.
Huh. Might be one over there.
There you go. So this is what it's all about. If you didn't, you put in two and two together, our commission checkers in the post.
That's right.
There we go.
All right, Matt.
Hi everyone, Matt here. I'm a startup and mindset coach here in Perth. Just wanted to let you know, I do my own startup called Startup Founder Mindset, and we're doing some ideation workshops next week. One Thursday night, that's 6 to 8 p.m, and another one Saturday morning, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Come see me after this if you're interested in doing more. I also do coaching programs as well, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, come and talk to me after.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you very much. There you go. See, look. Now we're in.
Hey.
How you going? I'm Kieran. I have a lived experience with bipolar, and I have an initiative called Young Resilient. I do rap, podcasts, and looking to create online content around bipolar. I studied exercise physiology years ago, so looking to reincorporate that. I just need to get fit again. Got a bit of a belly, so working on that. But yeah, thank you.
Well done.
Nice. Well, I haven't seen you at Founder Sundowner for a while, so you're working on that well. You know, that's good. Yeah, cool.
One
Nice.
more. Who's brave enough? One more. One at the back there.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm JJ. I just launched my MVP for my startup yesterday, so I thought I'd come and meet people.
Woo! Well done.
Basically, we track the price of four-wheel drive and camping equipment to help people save money. You can set up alerts and be notified when something goes on sale. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's very early in access, but I'm a software engineer with a couple of years' experience, and I used to be a mechanic, so I kind of fit the role.
Nice. Did you say camping equipment?
Is there anything anybody can help you with? Something? An ask?
Eventually a co-founder that can do more sales, marketing, and business sort of stuff.
Looking for a co-founder? And what was the business called?
Price Mates.
PriceMates.
So pricemates.com.
.net.
There we go.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to have half an hour at the end of this for a bit of networking. After Jesse's talk, by the way, we've got Jesse. I'm sure you're all aware. And get to know each other. A few shameless plugs from us. We also run a thing called Founder Sundowner at Nowhere Man Brewing on the first Wednesday of every month. So not for a couple of weeks, but get down there if you're look for a hangout with other startup founders. Startup WA, who's sort of our government body for lobbying to government about what startups want in Western Australia, are putting on some more events at the moment. So this is actually, it doesn't say it here, but this is a pitch event. So if you're a startup and you want to get your word out and you want to practice your pitch, they've got this event coming up at the museum. Scan that QR code and that'll take you to the link. It's on Humanitics. And if you search Humanitics for this, it doesn't come up. It's a pain. So try and, if you want to go, I'll leave that QR code there for you. This is also being live streamed, you might have noticed, the heavy duty equipment. So you can always, and the recording is available online, so you can get this QR code later or hit us up. And there's another one on getting funded, closing the female founder investment gap. So that's happening on the 30th of August. Again, another Startup WA event. So one of the asks here is make sure you are subscribed to Startup WA. Make sure you're a member. It's free. You'll get out all this good content like this. It looks like they're putting out more and more events. So another QR code there for anyone that wants to get it. Cool. All right. I mentioned the live stream. This is being live streamed. Thank you very much to our friends at the New Industries Fund at the Department of Jobs, Tourism, Science and Innovation, JITSI.
Congratulations to everybody who's been shortlisted for Innovator of the Year. I know that is coming up. When's the actual event? 21st November. So congratulations to everybody there.
Excellent.
And as you'll probably see from everything that the New Industries Fund's doing, very much in helping grow the WA ecosystem from the Waves Initiative through to the Innovator of the Year stuff. So a big thank you. And also just to thank, they are the ones who are paying for us to stream this to the regional area. So we're having a watch party down in some of the regional Esperance and other places around WA. And it's all possible thanks to the New Industries Fund.
Yeah, thank you very much. Also,
we did
Deal Room. Is Deal Room going good? Are people putting their content up there? Yeah. All right, great. So if you start up, go to wa.dealroom.co, put up as much or as little information as you like, revenue figures, information about your company, and it's just a really nice portal on what's happening in the WA innovation space.
That's your industry, mate.
That's your industry. I've got to get out of that. Cool. And Perth Video. Thanks, Jürgen, and the guys at Perth Video. They're the ones with the heavy-duty video equipment. If you need some streaming services or some recording services, you've got an event coming up, hit them up.
Ammo. Thank you very much to Ammo, to Jack and Cam and the team there. If you are looking for a marketing to get your name out there, then check out Ammo. They're a great team. They very much help you, very much think out the box. They've helped people like Basil, the Mayor of Perth with their election. Yeah, we already talk about that. But they're very much well known here in the startup ecosystem. And if you haven't, check out, go get your phones out, get on Spotify or your podcasting app and look up Weird Growth Podcast. Some great people on there. Lots of knowledge, lots of people sharing their ideas. Like, for example, Mr. Glue here.
Yes, I was on there. So, yeah. Just make sure you do it in your podcast player. Don't Google weird growth images or something. You get a different result.
For those of you, he's not here. We haven't had a text. So what's going on, Glenn, if you're watching this later? But thank you to Glenn. If you are looking for a new job or you're looking to recruit your next person, then check out Beecham Group. For those of you wearing the VR headset, there is a virtual banner behind Scott's here. We did find the banner, we did put it out. It's the virtual one.
Spacecube like to hide the banners from us on occasion.
It's like hunt the banner in the morning. But Glenn, we're sorry we couldn't find it. But we will find it and try and put it out. But check out Beecham Group. They've been supporters of Morning Startup for years.
And sorry about the ongoing sponsor slides here, but it feels we're not rolling in cash.
We take no money for this. We do this for the love. There is no organisation, but these guys do. It does cost us money to run Morning Startup. And so to Jesse, who you're going to hear from this morning, massive shout out. He and the KeepSpace have provided beautiful food. At the back here for breakfast for those of you who have missed it because it's early. So big shout out. So Jesse, did you want to do a little plug of yours? I'll let you do it. I
think you'll do a decent plug later on when he actually has a half-hour talk. So cool. And TechCon, thank you very much for supplying coffees. Again, head to Joey Zaz's and tell them you're at Morning Startup. They'll give you a coffee. And thank you for TechCon for helping us out with that, keeping everyone caffeinated.
They provide development services.
Yeah, they've got a really cool team in Nepal. If you have software needs, good cost-effective way to do it. And all these supportive organisations, I think we'll just fly through this.
The only thing I would definitely shout out, I love, is Startup News. So check out startupnews.com.au, I think it is. Every Friday there's a little nugget of information as to what's going on in the ecosystem. For those of you like me who are slightly disconnected now from what's going on, that's my way of finding out, this company's doing some awesome stuff. So big shout out to them. And also, I couldn't do this without SpaceCube and the team. Big shout out for giving us this space for free. We bring beautiful people like you here every 2 weeks. If you are looking for co-working space, SpaceCube have 4 here. Fern, Riff.
And Sydney?
Yeah, Flux. And Sydney now.
Yeah. How many of you guys actually work at SpaceCube as SpaceCube Space? Cool.
How many started at SpaceCubes?
Nice. Yeah. Good to see. All right. And get in touch with us. We're Morning Startup on all the things. Love to hear from you if you want to do a talk one day or want a topic that you want to hear about. Check that out.
I'm still not
I had
sure.
to replace the logo. That's my awesome design skills.
Oh, where's it going?
Seamless. Cool. All right. And that is formalities out of the way. Thanks, Charlie.
Oh, the first time. It's like, we've only been doing it for 6 months, and we've now finally got a clap and a laugh. So
Nice. All right, but we're going to shut up now. You're all here to hear from the amazing Jesse Emia, who runs a company called KeepSpace. He's been doing it, the startup scene, or the startups for a long time. I've known him for about 10 years now, since the startup scene really emerged in WA. He's going to take you through his journey. He's been through a lot. I'm going to let him introduce himself and his journey, because it's pretty amazing. And he's really inspiring. He talks his mind, he shares revenue figures, he does all of that cool stuff. So please make him welcome, Jesse Emia.
I think you're on mic. Is this on?
yeah, but you did it just because we're streaming it.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to break out the song,
Then go for it.
I didn't get a chance. Do you want water?
No, we're good. Can I steal this one?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't hear you, Dave, in the back. But I can hear on this one. Or is this one better? Hello? Hello? Yeah, let's go with this. Cool. All right. That's the end. That's the last slide. Cool. So that was the talk, everyone. That was a good talk.
Let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, in full disclosure, I put these all together Monday night after a long fucking day at work. So I will probably be using these as more of a crutch than anything forward, which would be great. And I'm going to click them somehow. Can I have a clicker? Is that cool?
Come on, you're a bit demanding.
I'm sorry. I'll just come over. I'll do it old
just
school.
hit the button.
We'll just click the
Sorry,
buttons. Cool. All right, sweet. Back in the day. All right, so I'm going to be talking about financials. I'm going to be talking about different business ethics. I'll be talking about different things. So this is a big fat pinch of salt for you guys. Do not take this for granted. Fucking don't sue me, because I don't have any money for you. So
house rules.
that's right, game house rules. So who am I? My name's Jesse. I've been in this community group probably a little less than Charlie here, but about as long as David. And it's been a really wonderful journey. I won't go too much into it, but I think I first showed my scene up with Jürgen when we did the controversial discussion around high equity discussions. This one was a little bit before the whole vesting terms came through with +8, but it was just a good way to come through. If you want to see it, it's on Jürgen's platform, which, by the way, has been doing so many times.
We got hacked.
Did you?
We got hacked and the whole site got taken down, but I have the recordings, so I could try and load this one up for you on this live stream replay page.
I've still
If you'd
got,
like to-
yeah, I've still got the original link that I nicked before that all happened and chucked it on my website before it happened.
Still works there, yeah.
So yeah, there's still a link to it on our About Us page if you want to check it. I talk really shit in this one, so that's really good. Then about a couple of years later, went down into the dirt, and then Dave said, look, you're doing really good marketing content, so could you show how you make an impact with the community and bring it through when you don't have much money to throw into marketing? So we did a talk back in 2020. That one is gone to the ether. You won't be able to find that one. And then I wanted to come back a year after and talk with Scott over a good way to organize the business models, which was around OKRs by John Doerr. If you are growing your company and you're looking for a good way to do a good management structure, this ain't bad. This is really helpful. But it's been a long-ass journey. And these guys are probably the ones that you may have heard of, but you could definitely respect. Like, Scott's been doing this for a very long time. So kudos to Scott, and he doesn't get enough. Along with David, Isaac, and Justin. Justin and Isaac actually did it while Scott went off to the US. And it's just, we're going to go back a little bit, because it only makes sense to go back that far. And through all that, you learn some stuff. And I want to share some of that stuff with you. Now, everyone will come in here and some people will tell you a story and show you a different technique or sell you some money with some inequity opportunities and all that shit. But, you know, they say that you need a good idea, money, team, timing, and a good business model to make it work. Well, that's what that guy said. So that was a conversation that I thought took to heart. And it's true. You need a lot of different things to run a really good business. We all know you got to have good equity understandings. You got to be able to share a vision. You got to know your financials, all that shit. And then you got to put it on YouTube somehow and make sure your message is done well. But I'm not very It's not my style to talk like that. I'd rather just talk like a bit of a bogan and just be grounded. So I'll just tell you my story in the way I know, and hopefully it connects. So I just got married in 2009 to my first wife, which I've never publicly shared until today. And her father was from Chinese descent and ran a fishing tackle company. And he saw me working in local government and said, "How much salary are you making?" I said, "I make 50K. I thought I was rolling in it. He's like, "How much is that a week?" It's about $700. He said, "Why don't you just do that in 2 sales?" And it was a big mind-blowing experience, and that's what started my entrepreneurial journey. I didn't know fuck all about business. But I had a rich father-in-law. And so he said, "Go start a business." All I knew was weddings. Took a lot of money. So, like a lot of people who get into business, you take what you know. That's what I knew. And we bought this business for $65,000 from Natalia Bridal in Como, just down that Como Street, near the lights. We put another $45,000 for the fit-out, because she looked a little dated. And we started to do okay. We wiped it out to call it elegant body. Made it really fancy. Got heaps of good reviews back in 2012 and 13. And we did well. But there's so many things you learn in your first business that no one tells you about. So the investment was from family. It was like 140K that didn't come with any agreement. It was just talks over the table. Learned a lot about international export when China still loved us. Sorry, John. And when accounting was sales accounting, payroll, site development, marketing was all the very first skills I was learning during this phase. And I went through about 2 years. And people, this community wasn't in existence yet. There was nothing there. So it was really hard to figure it out. And the only way you could learn is through failure. I had learned all these skills, but I had done all the stuff that you shouldn't do. I wasted money because I had a bankroll of cash, so I thought. I brought too many people into the business and paid them the salary that they wanted, which extended my payroll beyond meaningful, sustainable levels. And there was a whole bunch of shit that went really bad. In the end, I had a whole lot of expenses to cover and no money left to really cover it through. So I sold it to a company on the East Coast called Love Bridal. And we sold it based on pain, not logic. Because when you're in a position like that, all you want to think about is get the fuck out of this and just take it away and just take the business. And so we sold it for 25K. So I'd lost a lot of money. Now my journey of being an entrepreneur could have died right there. And sadly, a lot of people do. They get hit once, they get absolutely beaten, they're sent back 2 years, and you never hear about them again. And there's plenty of guys that we all know in this room that have come and gone through the years. It's really sad. So I ran off to the mining sector. My family is all in mining. My dad's run an area, my mum was in pit control, cousins were supervisors, so they just chuck your job, chuck you in a truck, 85K a year. And I literally drove for 12 hours all over dirt and carried dirt. And that was it. It was very embarrassing and didn't really share much of that history. But that's what happened. I had a lot of time, so I had a lot of audiobooks. You just sit in there, you're driving the truck and listen to all the stuff that you guys have probably heard about, all the good ones. Play bigger, scaling up, how to win and influence people, and Steve Jobs' biography. And through that time, I thought, I got absolutely ass-kicked. But I also knew that it could be possible. I just sucked at it. So I just need to figure out if I could do it again. So I watched lots and lots of YouTube. Dragon's Den was all the rage back then, the UK version. Canada had just kicked in with their Dragon's Den thing. Shark Tank was just starting. And there was something that popped up in it. And it was a Dragon's Den California, Toronto group called Frogbox.com. And Frogbox had kicked in. And what they did was they took these green boxes to distribute across Canada for people to use instead of cardboard boxes to move house. A recyclable, reusable product. My first business, I learned that selling wedding dresses for $2,000 and hitting women real hard was good, but you never got a recurring structure. I thought out of this, I could drop the cost of the product down and turn it into cents and just reuse the product over and over again. That was my learning from the first one. And I thought, this could work. So I copied them, always to the name. So we called it Koala Box, and we said we'll give we'll give 1% to koalas to try and build the model. That was one of the early YouTube videos we pushed out. We got imports, so my learnings from importing, I brought stuff in with containers from my friends in China, and they came out really, really well. We did some prototyping to understand how the product looked, and for the first time I actually built a website through understanding how developers work and how expensive those buggers can be. Sorry, Mark. It's just and recognize what it takes to get customers to come to your website to actually book through a practice and then create a sale. That first time you make it, it's such an amazing experience. Because this first business was a buy from revenue. This one is from scratch. And to go from scratch is fucking so much harder, but it's so much more rewarding. After about a couple of years, some friends helped us out. I ended up getting a real estate agent who we had bought our house with my first wife with. They ended up investing into the concept because they were in real estate and they could see the potential, and they gave me $10,000. And the $10,000 was for the vehicle. So they kind of had the vehicle as their asset should shit go south. But I recognized that in the business model, in Canada, there's like 60 million people. Perth had 1.5. So I didn't have the foresight to understand the lack of population density, or just people in general. So there was a lack of revenue that could be created. And I had to find a way to get these boxes, because I only had these boxes, to be used somehow. So I'm driving around, Kalamunda, up north, down to Rockingham, all over the place, dropping these boxes off to people so they could move house. And the best year I had out of 4 years was 45 grand. It was a walking dead business. You realize you can do it, but then you just keep grinding at it and you think you're going to make it, but it was fucking migraine for a really long time. So I'm still doing the same practice of listening to different podcasts and hanging out with this group and reading about different startups that are kicking off and who's raising money, and the whole ethos of raising capital starts to tantalize and get really exciting. And then I thought, you know what, that sounds cool. And as I'm watching it and looking at those ranks of top invested businesses over whatever fucking time frame it is, and everyone loves our rankings, I see this one pop up, and it's called KeepSpace. And look, they got the same green boxes. That's so cool. And what they did is took the concept of the green box as a storage device. So everyone knows Dropbox. And what they just did is make a category system on a platform for physical assets. I thought, I'll copy that one. I'll do that. And then that might make me some money. Because then I can get recurring revenue based on storage of their assets. So I'm looking at the real estate market now, trying to get into that, while I was still doing logistics. And that's what I did. In 2016, I popped in here and presented it and tried to showcase it just over there. And it was caught as a, cool startup business, like everyone else does. I didn't realize where it would go, but I thought I'd just take what I could learn. And this was our early startup team. Midway through this, I separated from my first wife. It was very sad. I lost all my friends, all my connections to China were gone. All the money that I'd made, the house, everything was gone. So I'm living on my sister's couch because of that situation. It literally sounds like a scam video on YouTube. It's like living on the couch or stuff. But that's what happened. I was in a really, really bad place. And I was starting that business from that place. So do I know what it's like to be down and out? Absolutely. It sucks. But I thought all I had was this one, and I had to make it work. That's all I knew. Because if I don't, well, fuck, press the delete button. I met my wife through this process. We had our first son. I met Tezuku, who was our first developer, who was backpacking. And the others were, like in a startup at the beginning, they come in for a short period and go on with their life. We ended up trying to take the concept of this category system and thought, well, who could we sell this to? Who's got money? University students. Everyone chases university students, right? So we did too. We went to Curtin University, UWA, Murdoch, and we put down a platform saying, we'll store your shit over the Christmas break, and then you can get it back when you come back to uni. And everyone, it was a good take-up. And after that summer of 2016, we were all over the city, picking up people's shit, putting it into these boxes. And you can see the koala box van in the front there. We're using it all, and we're just taking it through. It was a lot of hard work. That first Christmas, we made $5,000. It was awesome. It was true experimental money right there. The platform worked. The concept was in existence. So we knew something was working. We just weren't very good at making money on it yet. So we thought, what could we do? And then along came Chris from BlackRoll. This dude, German friend of ours, we met in March. So it's a couple, we'd just taken all the student stuff back, and Chris came up, he's like, you know, I have all this stuff in this garage, and I need you to store it and send it for me. And I'm like, what's that? And it's a whole industry called the third-party logistics space. If you don't know it, it's technically you are the person who will store people's products. When they want to sell something, you will send it with Australia Post or DHL. And I had touched on it in the army when I worked there for a while, but not to this scale. I literally heard about Plus 8. Nesh and the other guys had literally just gone around town, started plugging Plus 8 all over the place, and I thought, fuck, I should jump on that. I'll tell them about this new business we've got, and it could work. Instead, I didn't get in. That fella Dave did, though. Didn't you, Dave? You were in there with Elvas. You did a good job. A whole bunch of guys in there have done really well, and some of them didn't. It's really interesting to see how the startup goes and guys go out there. But that was one of the slides. As you can see, it's pretty basic. That was what we were presenting. We're taking out the products of, I didn't have enough time in photos, so I didn't do a very good UI. But the idea was turn it from physical different things and turn it into assets. And take it from a category in quantity inventory management. That was like a pretty cool concept. And it was just when e-commerce was really starting to get its own around this time, 2016. And so I thought, you know what? It seems like pitching to investors is the way to go. And everyone was like saying, go pitch, go get some money. And so I did. I went to Better Labs. They knocked me back. Went to Plus 8 3 times. Fuckers never said yes. Perth Angels were asking for insane equity, so I was like, fuck that. Lighter Capital and Tractor Ventures, these two, they worked on a kind of a loan structure. They'll give you money and then they'll take money out of your revenue. They're going to make sure it's recurring. Innovation Bay, I actually don't even know who they are. I just remembered I did it. Not one of them said yes. They all called us a family business. It's not scalable. You're not going anywhere. You don't fit the mold. Fuck off. Just go. Go away. So I did. So if we look back at what we just saw, 2010, Elegant and More, sold it off because I got hurt. Koala Box, ran it for 4.5 years, right? And then KeepSpace came through, and that's when Chris from BlackRoll joined. So many startups will say things like, I'll try this thing for a year. And then I'll go. It didn't work. I can say I tried as I was a startup entrepreneur, put it on my LinkedIn profile. Like an idiot. So that's what my journey was like. A lot of you will probably copy this. Yes, right. Embrace the darkness. But then through that time of almost 9 years, that happened. You take all the lessons. You gain, you gain a level of humility that this won't teach you. Here, guys who you find that have made it, and that's their first. They are the most arrogant fucks you'll ever meet. Absolutely critical, rude pricks you'll ever know. But then, they crash and burn just as fast as they jump. The ones who have gone through a level of humility, they're the kind of leaders you want to follow. And they're hard to find. So what's KeepSpace all about today? Well, We just kept doing what we did the 10 years before. We thought we'll just get a bigger warehouse, put some more stuff in, work out how to categorize stuff, get better materials, put their stuff away, build better software, make it more user-friendly. It's just the same stuff you guys are doing. We just got a couple extra years ahead. Then comes through the growth process where we've gone to Perth and Melbourne, and the expansion process. That's my learning phase right now. Learning the economies of scale and the diseconomies of scale. New words for me. But very, very, very important stuff when you start getting past that first million. And your marketing gets more flashier. You just get, that's Chris now, a little older. And he's still rocking and rolling the back roll. You learn about how to grow a team, how to be respectful, how to love them, and make sure they come first before shareholders. And then if you get far enough, you start doing a lot of orders. And the business just starts progressing. But it couldn't have happened if I didn't learn the lessons of old. And through that practice, just copy something else again. Everyone says B2B SaaS, B2B SaaS, B2B SaaS. And so we thought, fuck it, we'll jump on that wagon too. Let's copy that. And we thought we'll take the 8 to 10 years of building and development that we've done and put it as a product for people to use it so they could use themselves. So it was like, we built an admin panel, a picking application, and a packing application when they're packing the orders. I'm going to bundle that all up and bring it to the market. Yeah, that's my shameless plug. So that's my story. And I got a couple of character development points, which I think I'm not going to be able to tell you how to make money. I'm not going to be able to tell you how to do your business more. I'm not going to tell you how to get that cash so you can get an investor, because I couldn't do it. All I can tell you is what character you should have if you want to be a leader in your space 2 decades from today. And it's actually 5 points. That's a typo. The first one is, my first point that I wanted to share as I come to an end on this conversation is, it is not a fucking sprint. It is a really, 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 really long journey. You must embrace that. You cannot do it without it. So many people think it's going to be a quick run to the end, sell off in 5 years, fucking Bob's your uncle, onto that podium stage, get my 5 minutes of fame. But it more looks like this. It's rocky, you fall over, you scratch yourself. You don't know where the end is. You just know you got to commit, and then you just got to figure it out. I cannot express that enough. That's point one. If you want some inspiration or insight about further on that, Simon Sinek did a pretty good talk about it, the infinite game. It's trying to reshape the mindsets to take businesses from what we used to have, which were 50 to 60-year-old companies, and trying to go back to that instead of the average 7 to 10-year company lifespan. The concept is that we've lost a little bit of that. And this guy, he covers it off pretty well. Second one I got is patience, but I haven't emphasized enough. A couple of slides back, I was showing about timing is a point of relevance. And I think it's true. We will all come with different concepts. Your glasses and the story is probably a good one, where it might be a bit early, might be a bit late, might be some competitors you don't know. The thing is that you just got to be patient enough and keep working through it. Because eventually, some big startup that got lots of money is going to fuck up and go. And that's when you can step in. And actually, your timing can take off then. Someone else might just do a really shit job, and then you'll make an opportunity out of that. And this really comes down to truth. You have to be patient in what you're doing and not worry about cash flow, but the time, because that's your best asset. This is a good one, this one for me. Your vision must be greater than the pain you will suffer. Because you will suffer lots of pain. It will be your best friend. But your vision must be greater than that. You can't be at home stressing about how you're going to pay your staff or how to pay that paycheck to that invoice that you said you promised you will do, but then for some reason it's 4 weeks behind now and you don't know how you're going to make it because the cash didn't come in from the invoice that you sent out and all that stuff. All that jazz work, someone wants to sue you because you didn't fulfill a promise that you said you would do, and all that stuff will happen. But you got to have the vision. You just got to have it. My vision was, before starting all this, I was a missionary for about 3 years with Youth with a Mission, and went to third world nations and saw the need. There's heaps of it. We all take that and think we want to make the world a better place. When you lose that, you'll quit. You'll quit. Because it's too hard. Who the fuck wants to do this? It's shit. So if you hold on to your vision when it gets really dark, and it will, you'll make it. This is a good one. I've been watching over the last 5 years shareholders overthrow customer decisions. Sometimes, Charlie, we're going to fight on this one. Sometimes shareholders will tell you to go a certain direction for your business. That direction is of the interest of the shareholders' return. Customers will ask you for a longer term direction which will be more expensive, but the value you'll create will be everlasting to not only them, but everyone that associates with them. And you'll have to make choices. You can choose to focus on the ones that give you your income, or you can choose to pay focus on the ones who invested in you. This will come up a lot. And it completely depends on how much money of which one you took. I would encourage you to focus on these guys more than them. There will be passive fuckers who are wealthy individuals that will give you some insight, pretend to know all about your business because they did it 20 years ago, and customers don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You must be able to stand your ground. You must be able to stand your ground. So when you don't have any cash and they look very authoritative, you got to learn to say no. That's my point on this one. And my last point, you must learn to be honest with yourself and your team. You will do things that are really dumb. You will make decisions that are really embarrassing. Do you have the humility to say, I fucked up. This was bad. I did it with the best knowledge I had. I'm going to make it up to you guys. Or are you the type of person that says, it's not my fault. It was your fault. How dare you blame me? I'm the fucking CEO, bitch. Take your bags and leave. Both messages I've heard regularly. But you must recognize that you are a human and you will fuck up. And if you can handle that, you'll be able to handle the bigger challenges. If you can't handle that and you don't have humility, how the fuck are you going to get 10 million? I wouldn't give it 10 million if you can do that. I'd rather have my team and myself say, you know what? We fucked up that deal. Cost us 50 grand. We overcharged that guy. Cost us 3. Let's give him a credit. He'll remember the credit and he'll stick with you. Because you're human and people will drop the guard, drop the defenses. Recognize you're not all fine shats with your black shoes and your silky little suit. Because they're the guys that, gave you some money, and they're the ones that are paying a mortgage to a house. And you'll build their trust, and you guys will go far. And that's my story. I hope you liked it. Before you take over, Dave, that's a QR code if you want to use fulfillment in KeepSpace. If you are in an e-commerce fulfillment arrangement and it is something you want to do, that's my QR code. That's what we do today. SaaS product in it for a while.
Awesome.
That's it.
It's so refreshing to hear you talk, Jesse, because there was a few giggles coming from the audience, because those who have walked the same walk, you can 100% relate to 100% what you have said in that presentation. So I thank you very much for sharing that insight. It's been amazing. Are there any questions? I'm going to kick you off, though, if there's no questions. There will
really
be. It's a bit like the start. It's just getting into it.
So, there is, okay.
So what's the hardest thing that you found as a founder in the journey?
That guy put his hand up. But
he had a question.
I'll answer yours
you
first.
Answer my question while I walk there.
It's a pretty similar question, Dad.
Okay.
What was the question again? I was too busy looking at him. Sorry.
Hey Jesse, I'm Dave. I just want to highlight low lights. So of that journey, you've had a lot of dark moments, but you've also had some highs. Just highlight low light. What sticks out?
The highs or the lows?
Both.
Both?
What's the hardest thing that you found in the time you've been doing it?
Biggest high was when Commonwealth Bank gave us a loan through our accountant, because he wanted to make a commission, and gave us $250,000. just before we went to Melbourne. That was a huge high. Because I was going on a trip. I was leaving. I was on the grind for 2 weeks. It was amazing. That was probably the biggest high. Taking the kids, coming through. On the trip, though, we had an Amarok that was carrying a trailer with all the assets that we thought we'd bring from Perth. Right at Eucla, the belt busted and turned into spaghetti. So the alternator wasn't charging the battery anymore. You guys been to Eucla? It's a great place. It's a great place to stay for 2 weeks. And no, it wasn't 2 weeks, it was 2 days. But when going through that, I told the team before, look guys, this is going to be a burn the boat scenario. We're just fucking going. Whether we fail when we make it, we're just going. There's no way we're going to come back. When you give that kind of insight, you're like, yeah, we have to make this work. We're fucked if we don't. And so when that broke and we're all trying to figure out how to fix this vehicle, it looks really bad. That was actually a really big highlight because it showed you overcome this part and versatility and not stressing over and, oh my God, it's going to cost $3,000 to tow this thing. It was cool because we didn't tow it. We end up just limping very dangerous areas. I won't talk about it on here because it's been shown by some cop somewhere. I don't know. The lowest one was when my wealthy wife, who had a very wealthy father, took everything. It's a very comfortable place when you got gold in handcuffs. It's really comfortable. You can say a lot of shit without any integrity of loss. But yeah, when you know something is going in a certain different direction, it's really hard to take that bullet and eat it. So that was probably a really dark low for 2 years. I don't like talking about it. No one really does, but that's my low.
Any other questions? Questions about that?
Hey Jesse, David here. Maybe similar, but more around all entrepreneurs. It seems like it's personally a really hard journey, and it's one of those jobs that you definitely bring home at the end of the day. What's been the most surprising thing that you've discovered along your journey, and do you have any advice for other founders about how to do that better?
I'll try and repeat what I heard. So you said, when I come home at the end of the day, what's something I could help with? Is that it?
Yeah, well, it's not a 9 to 5. So how do you not work when you're not at work, and what's the best way for founders to do that?
How do you turn off?
Yeah.
I think, the turn off button. Gotcha.
Doesn't exist.
Well, it's a trained button, and my dad probably, rest his soul and bless him, he's probably the one who taught me it. So when we were driving into the mine location, my dad's been in the mining game. Tom Price, he was a drive-in, drive-out guy. So he's lived in the community before he got wealthy and fancy. He told me before it all went through his life, and you'd never know him, said one day when we were driving to work, he said, look, son, I can't tell you any other way than this. When you get on the bus, you're on work. You just fucking work. And when you get on the bus on the way home, you leave that shit there. You just gotta. If you bring that work home, marriage just gets all fucking funky and everything else goes bad. So you gotta make sure you can split. And that's probably where I had to learn how to do that with my second marriage with my wife today. There is a stage when you're at the office, you fucking are just a hustler. You just must work at work. When you walk through the door and the kids are screaming at you and they want to cuddle because they missed you and they haven't seen you all day, you just got to leave it. You just got to say, honey, we're not talking about work right now. How's the kids? Did they go well at school? Oh, you had a fight. Good for you. Did you win? And all those conversations. And years of that. Just like any athlete, not that I am one, but it's just repetition and practice. You got to just, yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Any other question? Yeah, it's over here.
Hey, Jess. Mate, being your own startup and your own sort of founder and going through the process like that and keeping that mind frame of your customers and your people, how do you go about treating your people? Like, because it's about your customers and your people that you're working with. They're pretty much family. How do you relate that into your business? Like, how do you actually project yourself towards your people?
Yeah, I had the same question to my mentor, and my question was just like that. And he introduced me to the open book policy, and you only usually find it in the hospitality sector with cafes and restaurants, where they'll say, all right, guys, we're going to talk about how much money we made today. And we've made this much on cakes and shoes and whatever else. And I thought, if I want my team to stay with me and I want to invest into them, I got to tell them what's going on. Hey, guys, we are broke. We need to figure out this issue. Why are we broke? Well, this expense here, we had to come through. So let's open up QuickBooks. Let's look at the numbers. This is what we did. This is what we didn't do. I don't know, guys. What do you think we should do? Conversations, opinions kick in. And then they're validated. They feel heard. That's a real important thing. Can't do that if you're an arrogant prick. Like, shut the fuck up. I know what I'm doing. So it's like, yeah, actually, you know what, John, that's a brilliant idea. Guys, what do you think? We should give that a crack? Unanimous yes or no's? And it's just doing that, just being able to communicate, being able to recognize those discussions do happen, placing down plans, trialing the plans, documenting the results. Once the results are in, then you recognize, you know what, that worked. You know what, that didn't work. Okay, didn't work. John, that was a shit idea. We're never doing that again. And everyone's like, yeah, that was crap. But we tried, you know. We put $2,000 into that, didn't work out. You know what, we'll just keep that to the history books, and next time someone else brings it up, we can reference that. And when you get enough people to have enough opinions, which can get very democratizing at some times, it can get a bit loud when you start getting plus 20 and everyone has opinions, and not all of them have all the information. It gets harder, as Charlie would reference. It can be difficult. So when you get further along the process, you have to find ways to be able to communicate more in more formal approaches. You then have to build up management teams to be able to have that heart, which comes down to your HR involvements of how you hire people, and to see if they have the attitude of humility, the attitude of innovation and trials, and sort of grow on that. And hopefully you can stand on top of it eventually. And then they can stand on top of others and trust their team members. And on it goes.
Any more questions? Answers. There's a question. There's two questions, one there and one here. That's right, my battery's going. So. Two more.
Hello.
I'm tired.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering when, I assume you've transitioned now from the slicing the pie model. When did that happen and how did that go?
Well, everyone, they like it, Dave. I'm telling you, they like it.
It's quite controversial. So.
Well,
for him.
I actually, I spent a day with Jesse. I don't know if you remember.
That
It
was
was like
a while
5.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And for me, it was not the right model for me at the time. And yeah, so I just really stoked to see you've succeeded and curious to know how that went.
One in where it went. Okay, so yeah, I'll give you that $20 later. Okay. No, it's like, the dynamic equity model splitting with the grunt fund approach was for the first 6 months of the business only. It didn't last very long, and the reason why it didn't last very long is because it really, in that first early stages, you don't know who's going to stick, you don't know who's not, and it just helped solidify some arrangements on the. So it's not a long-term solution. It is a short-term when you're trying to, at the idea phase, figure out your concepts to get to the point where you maybe make your first sales, and then you solidify, revenue kicks in. That kind of then allows you to use that as your template for your new agreements that then move forward on top of that. So that everyone has, that is still around, because 6 months is a long time in startup land, the idea of who is going to deserve what in the shareholder cap table. Is that okay? Yeah, cool.
So what are you using now for that?
We're old school like everyone else. We use cakeequity.com and we make vesting terms of 4 years. 3-month releases and all that stuff. But when you get through and you're able to pay market rate salaries, they sort of mature off and finish.
So slicing pie really is kind of, if you're kind of imagine it's the people that come out at Startup Weekend and stuff
really?
like that kind of look at slicing pie. But if you're genuinely, you're a founder and a co-founder, there's just no need to have slicing pie, in my opinion.
Oh, Dave, come on, don't be like that. Go on. One more?
So what are you improving now? Like, what's your goal in the next 6 weeks and maybe your goal in the next 3 years?
All right.
Personally and business.
So we're learning right now how not to go broke again, which we're getting very close to doing again. Because like everyone who raises capital and then chooses to grow aggressively, you take on massive expenditures and your fixed asset costs go up. When we took on Melbourne, we did not have the foresight of what Melbourne real estate was like, and they are fuckers. They just rip you, get an invoice, throw it your way, get another one your way. Rates, yeah, you deal with it. Here, I got the lovely blessing to work with an old Greek fella who had the warehouse space, and it's been completely done in a handshake. So it was very foreign to me, and I had missed the mark by 100K. So we had lost 100 grand with the Melbourne real estate that we had taken on. So now we're realizing how we're going to be able to create the revenue. We've got a solution to bring that through. That's the current right now. Once we complete that and we survive, which I do believe we will, and will probably take 2 years to do it, then we'll probably release the SaaS product, engineer that for individual warehouses all over Australia and within Europe and within America to then have access to synchronize with our physical warehouses and bring the same transparency. That's hopefully going into the whole BB SaaS to create a new revenue stream with fixed asset arrangements and hopefully create that margin gap to prepare for a American warehouse facility. That's going to take 6 years. If you look at the numbers, it's going to take a while. And we're not raising capital for that because I don't want some dickhead telling me what to do anymore. I'd rather work with good advisors and references on the cash flow.
Just a quick disclaimer, not all VCs are assholes. I can vouch for that.
A lot are, but for Dave,
I love
there's a
my
couple
VC if you're watching.
Sorry guys out there.
Can you do one more question because I know Scott did barge the queue here. This gentleman was very much waiting.
Thank you. Will it be all right I share something about Jess? Because I know this guy for 7 years.
Oh,
sure.
Is this another plant?
Yes. Sure. Go for
yes, because it's a startup. Because, when I met him, it was 2017. One of the occasions is from meet up for Amazon drop business. We met this guy here.
That's right, the battery's going. You'll have to speak up.
And at the end of the day, when I get home, I told my son, I met someone. If I have any money, I will bet on him. He will be the guy going to be success. What I see that guy on that night. Hello. Yeah,
it's for Jürgen. Jürgen. Yeah.
This guy, I saw him. He jumped onto every single people in the room, 20 of us. It's like a jumping on monkey. He's telling people, everyone, what he is doing, what his vision, what he want to do. Wow, what he make me feel his congruence. He's so committed to his mission. That's number one thing I learned from this startup guy. He's going to be success because his action is aligned with his vision. Number one. Secondly, when I met him in his office, he showed me his big screen of the Apple. I thought, I want this computer, but I want more on his screen. He has a master plan, and he is reading it, watching it, thinking about it every day. He has a long plan what he wants to do with his vision, align with it, and he review it, asking it, and talking about it every day. And secondly, and that's the second thing, he has a master plan. And the third thing I'm so like this person is, this chap is so humble. He's a humble leader. He is at the CEO seat, he's a leadership, but he listened. He listened to everyone. He asked questions to everyone for solution to solve his problem. What he's facing right now, he's so humble. Yes, and he want to invite everyone to join him if they can give a good idea. This is how he set up his team and become the most, I can see the most loyal and most working effective and hardworking team. That is what
Thanks,
I
buddy. Thank you so much. I'll just end on with this, and then I'll.
Can someone just open the other door in the front here so Jesse's head can go
No,
through?
yeah. It's very. I'm not used to that at all. This is really awkward. So thank you so much. But no, look. Honestly, I just want to say that I was right here crying in corners with everyone else. It's not about how much money if I can make. It's just about it's just a lifestyle, and it's the best job in the world, to be honest.
If I
could not define anything.
If I could just say one kind of Jerry Springer kind of parting port, rest in peace, Jerry, is if there's one person like maybe Scott and the rest of us stalwarts that have been doing this since 2012 can say is that Jesse, if there's one person that does demonstrate grit, it is certainly yourself. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Give a round of applause.
Thanks, Jesse.
We will be back here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely, as always.
Rain, hail, snow, sunshine.
Is he here? Is he here? Our next presenter? No. So we've got an awesome presenter. He's been here a few other times. He's going to be talking about Kanban. Does everyone here use Kanban for managing their stuff? You know, Trello, cards and stuff. The tools are great, obviously, but you need a process around that to make sure stuff doesn't get blocked. Who's actually moving their cards to the done list effectively and getting it through and not getting blocked along the way and all of that stuff? So, we're going to have an awesome presenter in 2 weeks' time taking us through the process around Kanban and Lean and all of that stuff. So please be here for that, and don't forget about Founder Sundowner in 2 weeks' time or something like that. But thank you once again to Jesse, and also you buggered off to Melbourne, you bastard, but thank you for being a staunch supporter of Morning Startup. Thank you for the food. Please enjoy the food and the networking and get to know each other.
And if there is a topic that you want to hear, then please reach out and let us know. We will do our best to try and find that person so they can present.
Yeah, awesome.
Or if you want to present yourself, let us know. Brilliant. See you here in 2 weeks. Cheers.